Thanks for sticking with us. We're at the Ridge Motorsports Park. It's Dynapack Superbikes at the Ridge. This is our final day of racing. Michael Hill and Roger Hayden in the commentary box. Jason Weigart has made his way down into pit lane. We're going to bring you all of the action on and off track. And we're getting ready, Roger. Yuasa Stock 1000. It's the second race of the weekend. Every single class of racing here in MotoAmerica this weekend gets 2 races, and I, for one, am a big fan of that idea.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it as well. I mean, also for all the teams and stuff, they put so much effort to come into this race, and if you have one bad race, you get to go and try to do it again the next day.
So here is a little look at what is coming up for the rest of our show today. In a few moments' time, it's going to be lights out for race 2 of the Yuasa Stock 1000. Twins Cup Race 2, STG Juniors, lights out at 4 p.m. Eastern, Supersport, Medallia Superbike at 6 p.m. Eastern, and our final race of the day with some very young riders, Roger, the North American Talent Cup, their second appearance on the MotoAmerica schedule, and like I said, really from grassroots to the stars, everything is covered here. All eyes then are on Corey Alexander. There he is. We'll be starting from the front row of the grid. And as I said briefly, as I was ending that Mike on the Mic segment, Corey Alexander has won the last 3 races here. This is a place he likes, and you can see there a 2.7 second advantage. It was more than that. The guy rolled off at the end of the race. Yeah,
the last lap, he kind of took it a little bit easier, and I think he could have pulled away. He had a pretty big gap, and then it looks like from there he just kind of managed it. So I think he had a little more in the pace. Hayden Gillum came on really strong at the end of that race, got a really bad start. So maybe if he gets a good start, he can go with Corey.
Now, we did not see, as we look there at Hayden Gillum, yesterday there was an incident at the start of this race. Jeremy Coffey and Jeff May coming together. And I did speak to Jeremy Coffey's team this morning, and they said they wanted to basically explain what had happened. At the start of the warm-up lap, Jeremy Coffey went down into turn 1. Obviously, we have a left-right chicane here. Jeremy was racing a couple of weeks back at the club race here, and he basically forgot that put my teeth in. At the start of the warm-up lap in a club race, they go straight on. They don't navigate the chicane. Yesterday, he forgot that, misjudged it, and wiped out Jeff May, and he's obviously very sorry for doing that. There is Jeremy Coffey. He's on the grid. We didn't see Jeff May on the grid this morning. We don't know if he's going to race, but a mistake, these things can happen, but bizarre start to yesterday's Stock 1000.
Yeah, I mean, really disappointing. I mean, especially for Jeff May, kind of innocent bystander. But, I mean, I like a guy like Jeremy Coffey come in and, you know, admit what happened and take the blame and be a man about it, and hopefully he comes out today. And mistakes can happen.
So the front row of the grid then, Corey Alexander, Andy DeBrino and Hayden Gillum will be on the front row of the grid. There is Danilo Lewis. The grid then is being cleared for this one warm-up lap. It's a 12-lap race.
And I don't see Jeff May on the grid.
Yeah, you're right. There's an empty space where Jeff May's Vision Wheel Honda should be. He is not there, and arguably, Roger, one of the most consistent riders up until this event. This will massively damage his championship hopes.
Yeah, his hand was hurting him pretty bad yesterday. I'd actually seen a picture of it on social media where it was really swelled up. So obviously having a bit of a problem with his hand today and can't make it out.
MotoAmerica Stock 1000 coverage is sponsored by Yuasa Battery. It starts with us. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. And by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance.
So the warm-up lap then is getting underway here, the halfway round. Let's head down to the third member of our MotoAmerica Live Plus broadcast team. Jason Weigart is down in the pit lane. What scoops have you got as the riders make their way around to the grid?
Yeah, thanks, Michael. We jinxed it yesterday. We were talking about Jeff May, the number 99, the Vision Wheel Honda, being arguably the most consistent rider in this Stock 1000 class. And then, as you both mentioned, there was a crash that was not his fault right off the start of our race yesterday. Hurt his hand, and we did see on his own social media post how much that hand swelled up. But that's not actually the problem. They have a quick shifter on the bike. That's not really the issue. It turns out he believes he separated his shoulder. So the team said 99.9% chance he's not going to be able to race today. He's not on the grid. So we just lost one of our title contenders. Tough break, and again, that incident really was not his doing.
Thanks, Jason. And Roger, that is bitter disappointment as we take a look at the way that these riders then will line up on the grid. Unfortunately, Jeff May will be absent, so it's Corey Alexander, the winner from yesterday, Andy DeBrino and Hayden Gillum. In fact, those top three were on the podium yesterday, so converting that front row to the podium.
Travis Wyman heading up to second row to see Jeff May, which won't be out there. And Michael Gilbert yesterday, you know, got a good start from that 6th spot.
Yeah, I spoke to Brandon Pash literally half an hour ago. He said he's feeling a lot more confident. Danilo Lewis in 9th. Isaiah Davis also having a pretty good run. A little bit further back, Hunter Dunham was inside the top 8 yesterday. Stephen Shakespeare flying the British flag from 17th. Zach Schumacher was the final point scorer yesterday for the Titleist Racing team. He had a couple of spills earlier in the weekend, but he regrouped and will be ready to fight. Here we go then as the riders come down to the grid. Hayden Gillum just makes his way past Michael Gilbert. That is the black and yellow Suzuki. There's the empty spot where we will not see Jeff May. Hayden Gillum looks on, and for Brandon Pash, that is going to give him a huge hole there to go through.
Yeah, he's in a perfect spot. He's been coming on this weekend on the Stock 1000 bike, so hopefully he gets a good start today and has a really good race. Let's see if they can all make it through this chicane.
Yeah, lights are on red then, the revs build, clutches out, and away we go, and it's a much better start today for Andy DeBrino. Corey Alexander is not going to lead into turn 1, so it's already a slightly different start as they come now hard on the brakes into the chicane. This is where it all went wrong on the warm-up lap yesterday. Oh, it's gone wrong again. Middle of the pack, a couple of riders tumbled together, and who is that?
Simmons. Jeremy Simmons.
Jeremy Simmons, and he came together with another rider just when I was about to say they all made it through. Unfortunately for Simmons, he did not. So the number 98 is on the floor. His race is over. At the front, Andy DeBrino leading, but look already at Corey Alexander, who's having a look on the inside. No way through, Roger, but he thought about it.
No, and Hayden Gillum got a really good start today. Got himself right where he wants to be behind Corey.
Here's a replay into turn 1. The two riders there are going to touch. Racing incident,
yeah,
I guess, but unfortunately Simmons coming off the worst. Here's the replay again. Look for the green bike. There he comes through on the inside, just touches him.
Looks like he might have got a little help there.
Yeah, a little bit more help from that angle. Here's one more look at it. That's actually as they've left the chicane there, so it is DeBrino that was leading. So, round this first lap, it is still Andy DeBrino leading. A little look again, a little sniff on the inside from Corey Alexander, who does not want to waste any time. Hard on the brakes towards the waterfall. As you said, though, Hayden Gillum on that orange and blue machine. Look how good he is on the brakes there.
Yeah, he's always been really... Look at... Ooh! Heading into turn 11, somebody was really aggressive with Brandon Pash. I think maybe it was Ezra Bobier.
Yeah, and Bobier yesterday was running as high as 5th and then unfortunately had that technical issue, and he was disappointed. He did speak, I think, yesterday to Jason, said he's very confident for today. Could be a podium contender, but certainly a top 6 contender is Ezra Bobier.
Corey makes a pass into the chicane. That's a good pass. That is a really hard place to make a pass on a Stock 1000, so that was a good setup by Corey. And now Hayden Gillum, if he's going to have to try to get through with Andy DeBrino pretty quick, and you can already see him making a move in turn 1.
Oh, that's a... Sorry, Roger. Hayden Gillum very aggressive there through 3, and that really has now disrupted the rhythm of Andy DeBrino, who now has Travis Wyman swarming all over the back of him as well. That was very opportunistic from Hayden Gillum, but he knows he cannot afford to let Corey escape.
Yeah, exactly. He knows Corey's got the pace. He can't get held up. That was a really good pass, really aggressive, and now we're going to see. Now Travis Wyman's going to... Looks like he's going to try to make it past Andy DeBrino. Just couldn't make it happen.
Yeah, and again, that's an example of just how one-line it is. You've got to take the move, but then the track kind of narrows because the direction changes, the elevation as well. So you've got to be clean if you're going to make a pass. Corey Alexander continues to lead, but he's not getting away. Hayden Gillum looks a lot more racy today, and Andy DeBrino, the local guy who got himself on the box for the first time this season yesterday, is currently on a podium again, almost front wheel to rear wheel there. Gillum looks completely different to yesterday.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing for him is just getting himself in a good spot, good start, and not having to come through the pack.
Hard on the brakes down into the waterfall, one of the slowest corners in MotoAmerica racing. Down the hill, through turn 13 into 14. A very technical end of the lap here, Roger.
And Corey's really strong in this last sector, sector 3. You can see he pulls out about almost a half a second just in that one sector, a couple tenths for sure.
Third place then for De Brino. He heads into the chicane. There's a little ripple there, isn't there, on the way through. Corey Alexander seems a little bit detached after that moment. And who is that in the background? That is 55. Another strong opening couple of laps for Michael Gilbert. Jason, down there in pit lane, he was very happy with the progress that he's making with this Suzuki, and it seems like they're making even more progress in race 2.
Well, he is good at the beginning of the races, but the problem is he has a broken ankle, which dates back to his crash at MotoAmerica. So he says he's good for about 5 laps or so, but he has to work so hard with the upper body since he can't use his leg that he does start to get tired, and then the bike starts handling in weird ways. So he's going to run up front as long as he can, but he doesn't know if he's going to be able to hold on to this pace all the way to the end.
Yeah, I didn't know that he was still nursing that injury, Roger. So that makes it even more heroic, really, doesn't it?
Especially at this track. This track's really physical. So if you do have an injury, you know, it's just when you come here at the Ridge with not a lot of straightaways, a lot of change in direction, it makes it a little bit more difficult.
Hayden Gillam on this lap has just set a personal best, but it's Andy De Brino on this lap that is the quickest of the 3. He sets a fastest first sector and the fastest sector of anybody. We are seeing a very different race to yesterday.
And now we're coming into the sector where the previous lap we've seen where Corey Alexander pulled that half a second. So it looks like, you know, through the lap, everybody has their strong sectors, and it looks like the 2 guys in second and third split 1 and definitely split 2. They're a little bit stronger.
Yeah, and you can see there De Brino just loses a little bit of time there through that third sector, pretty much backing up what Roger Hayden said. Over the line we go then. Lap number 3 completed. Fastest lap was a 42.4. It's now a 42.1 from Hayden Gillam, 42.2 from De Brino. So Corey Alexander is really going to have to pull the stops out here. He is not escaping like he did 24 hours ago. He's still out front, but he has got some real stiff competition. Hayden Gillam comes through turn 3, but it's actually called turn 1 because that chicane is only used for motorcycle racing here. They don't use that chicane for the 4-wheel motorsport that takes place at the Ridge. Through turn 3, through turn 4, then this little straight, which is not really a straight, is it?
No, not especially on the stock 1000 bike. It's pretty small. That last lap, Hayden Gillam did a 42.1. That's a race lap record, and you can see going that fast how much more he closed that gap, and he's definitely a lot closer. Now I think in this second sector that they're in now, we've seen how strong it is. Maybe he can try to make a pass in turn 11.
Yeah, we see very different lines there as well through turn 8. Now they come through turn 9 where we see the full spec Superbikes 2-wheel drifting. We'll see that a little bit later on in Medallia Superbike. Then it's left hard on the brakes, this double apex. It's more of a triple apex really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a pretty tricky corner because you can't really see it as you're getting into it.
And again, the riders hard on the brakes through the right hand, another double apex. Then you accelerate, 3rd gear, 4th gear. Then you're going to come hard on the brakes again, right down into 1st gear, the slowest corner. You can hear the brakes there just squealing as they all managed to make the apex down the hill. And another lap completed. Fast and furious racing in Yuasa Stock 1000.
I mean, even the top 4 are just so close in lap times.
Yeah, Travis Wyman said he hoped to be a little bit closer to the podium. He was in those first couple of laps. He had a bit of a stab at the back of Andy De Brino, but has not been able to stay with the pace so far. That said, he's only lapping 0.2, 0.3 of a second a lap. Jason, we're just talking about the progress and the speed from Hayden Gillam. He's definitely on the ascendancy.
Yeah, a lot of it is just him getting time on this track. Even though Hayden Gillam's a veteran in the sport, here, even American flat track, he's kind of done it all, but he has never ridden out this track, and they said he got here late. So the first time he saw the track was riding it in practice on Friday. Didn't even get a chance to walk the track. So they really feel like a lot of it was just him learning the facility the last 2 days. Some bike changes, but a lot of it is just him figuring this place out.
And also this track is, you know, if you haven't been here, I think it's one of the harder ones to learn because we talk about the elevation. So many blind corners. It takes a little while to get this place figured out, find your marks, and get comfortable pushing it. But it looks like Hayden's got it figured out here in race 2.
Now, obviously, one thing we haven't talked about is the different characteristics between the BMW M1000 that Corey Alexander is on and the Suzuki GSXR that Hayden Gillam is on. It seems to me, from the naked eye, as you said, that Corey Alexander able to stretch a little bit at the end of the lap, but through the first and second sector, that Suzuki seems to work a little bit better. Would you agree?
Yeah, and they're kind of even in the first sector. It just seems like the second one, Hayden is really strong. Corey's really strong in that third sector, and they keep yo-yoing kind of back and forth throughout the lap.
How is that from a rider's perspective then? Because if Hayden knows, look, I'm matching him in Sector 1, I'm losing it in Sector 3, he needs to be quicker in Sector 3 to have a stab in Sector 1.
Yeah, exactly. He's just going to try to figure out what he's losing in that last sector so he can get close enough to maximize where he is quicker to try to make a pass. And Hayden blows the chicane.
Oh, and Hayden
looks like he has an issue.
Gillum
maybe.
goes straight on, and he has got a technical issue. Now, he will not get a penalty because as long as he does not go faster in that sector, there shouldn't be a problem. Now, where's he rejoined?
In front of Andy DeBrino.
I don't know the rule there.
Well, he definitely didn't make up time.
No, he didn't make time, for sure.
I mean,
he
he
didn't make
lost
time.
But
Well, we'll leave that for race direction. At the moment, he's rejoined in that second place. And he doesn't look comfortable anymore, does he? There is definitely something plaguing that GSXR Disrupt Racing. Let's have a look at what happened. He's hard on the brakes. I didn't see anything, Roger. Ooh. Quick thinking, though, whatever it was.
yeah. Maybe he lost the brake. You see him over there adjusting something.
Yeah.
So maybe he's trying to adjust that brake lever.
Well, whatever it was, there was a bit of quick thinking for Hayden Gillum. He seems to have sorted himself out, but that now has allowed yesterday's race winner, Corey Alexander, to escape at the front. And if the positions stay as they are, Alexander would take over the lead in the championship. The body language has changed for Hayden Gillum, though, hasn't he? He looks a little bit more nervous now on the bike.
I would be nervous, too, if I went in the chicane and I had a brake issue. So
Yeah.
hopefully it gets sorted out. And, he's 1.2 seconds back. It's going to be hard to make that up with him and Corey being so close in lap times.
Yeah, but as we've said so many times, points make prizes. If you can nurse this home, and if nursing it home is still a podium, then it's still not the end of the world. Around that final sector. Now we're coming to the part of the track where it all could have gone wrong. Something definitely happened that previous lap. Downto shakes his head to the team as he comes across the line. Now let's see what happens this lap. Backs it in. Doesn't seem to be a problem this time. But again, just on the change of direction, just doesn't look as comfortable. The gap at the front increases to 1.6 seconds. You can see the advantage now that Corey Alexander has. Andy DeBrino looking for another podium. This is his local race. A lot of family and friends here. And for DeBrino, he moved himself up into the top 5 in the championship. He's still less than a race win behind the championship lead. It's still a 5-rider fight in this championship. And if DeBrino can get ahead of Hayden Gillum, that really does put him into play.
Yeah, and also just going to take that much more points from Hayden. So it's definitely, getting him, just being consistent all year. And I think for him being his first full year in MotoAmerica, he's put in a great showing and does a lot of work himself. So it's impressive to get himself to the races, do a lot of work on his bike, and then be a podium contender.
Absolutely. We are being informed by race direction that there will be no penalty for Hayden Gillum. He did not gain an advantage. He rejoined in the position that he was, but obviously he lost more than a second. And that's fair. I mean, we don't want to see penalties handed out willy-nilly. That's a good call.
Very good call. I mean, you don't want to... His race is already pretty much run from, the win. So, and Michael Gilbert out of turn 11. That looks like a high side.
Yeah, and as we heard from Jason Weigart, he already had an injury to the ankle, I think it was. And yeah, he's clearly in a bit of pain there. Lap 7, the bike in the middle of the track. We may see a red flag here. We're only on lap number 7 with 6 laps to go. Don't think that would be enough to classify it as a result.
I don't think so.
And we have got a red flag. Red flag comes out. Red flag comes out with 5 laps remaining.
That's going to help Hayden Gillum if they do a restart. He's going to bunch him back up and put him right back where he was.
Yeah, so we have a red flag. Michael Gilbert crashing out the bike in the middle of the track. So just from a safety issue, they are going to get the motorcycle removed. And there is the motorcycle.
This year, previously we never really seen a lot of mistakes out of Michael Gilbert, and just seems like this year he's kind of crashing a little bit more than normal. But disappointing coming here already with the injury, then have another crash. Yeah,
of course. So we do have some of the best marshals and medical facilities here. So as you can see, marshals already on the scene to move that bike, and race direction had no other option there because of that bike in the middle of the track, and with the nature of this circuit. Bikes coming around the corners, blind corners. Other riders may not have seen that bike in the middle of the track, so you got to red flag it.
Yeah, and just get the the medical there.
Yeah.
And also the bike can leak fluid, and you might think, well, you know, they're going to come around. They got plenty of time to pick it up. Well, you have to think about all the other riders behind Michael Gilbert left into the race.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are under red flag conditions. There is the number 28, David Lambert, coming back down into pit lane, Zach Schumacher as well. We are going to step away, take a short break. Stay with us. We'll have the resumption of the Yuasa Stock 1000s coming up after this short break.
Time to start eating better? If only it were that easy. Fresh and Lean thinks it is. We make the food you love with meals conveniently delivered to your door, made with fresh organic ingredients. So if you're looking to eat healthier, we got you. Meals ready to heat and eat in under 3 minutes. So wherever life takes you this year, you'll be ready. Now how easy is that? Fresh and Lean, feed your potential.
It's amazing. He's talking about motorcycle insurance, and people love it. And of course, they love the savings they're going to get with Geico, but it goes beyond that.
You deserve to save.
Heard that before.
You deserve to save.
I know.
I need you to hear me. You deserve to save.
I deserve to save.
I mean, he has a way of making you feel seen.
Bundle car and motorcycle insurance and save at geico.com.
Motion Pro. We make innovative tools and products that help you maintain and repair motorcycles, ATVs, and UTVs. Like the patented Pro-Fill Air Chuck, helping you manage tire air pressure on your motorcycle, ATV, or UTV. Easily adjust the Pro-Fill Air Chuck. Get past hot disc brake rotors with the pivoting angled head. Connect it with an airline. Or pair it with a Motion Pro digital tire pressure gauge. Reach for the Pro-Fill Air Chuck to manage your tires. Get yours at motionpro.com or visit Power Sports stores nationwide.
Hello MotoAmerica, members and fans. My name is Ronnie and I'm the founder and CEO of Moto Coach Parts, located in Germany. I'm excited to announce that in 2022 I will supply the MotoAmerica Superbike Championship with my favorite product, the brake caliper cooler. This product is obviously FEM licensed and has now also been permitted in the MotoAmerica Championship. The function of this brake caliper cooler is to break down the temperature in the brake caliper to 15 to 20 degrees. You'll profit from less pressure point running, no more burned brake pads, no burned wrap disc. See you on the track.
I come from a history of car design. Myself, I'm a car designer. Since I was a child, I've been inspired by speed, by machines that allow you to pretend you're a superhero, like motorcycles and cars. And in my last career, I was in charge of special projects for Honda. It was the advanced design studio where we would do motorcycles and cars and kind of thinking about the future of transportation and vehicles in general. And that, for me, really was the basis of this entire idea of creating a watch line that's really, really inspired by the processes of creating vehicles. So it's the R&D, it's using advanced materials, it's about using advanced manufacturing techniques, and I design every one of these watches myself. So I'm very, very close to the process, and everything from building in CAD and doing 3D printing and doing all kinds of different ergonomic studies. All of that comes from the world of car design, but that's all technical side of things. From an emotional side of things, you know, it's when I think about what we're trying to do, from pushing the limits of design, from pushing the limits of what the next American brand could be. For me, this is really, it's inspired by the types of things that people are doing, riding motorcycles, racing cars, that kind of thing, because those are the people that are really pushing the limits in life and taking chances, and it's the risk takers. And to me, those are the people that really are the pioneers. So for me, that's the spirit of our brand, and it's why our partnership with MotoAmerica is so special to me, because it's about shared passion to me. It's not so much about, you know, selling watches. It's more about the people involved in this that are really shared passion for amazing feats of human awesomeness.
Welcome back to the Ridge Motorsports Park. It is MotoAmerica Live Plus. We are under red flag conditions here. There you can see one of the medical trucks. You can see a little bit of work going on the circuit. We are under red flag conditions, Roger Hayden, following an incident that was involving Michael Gilbert. They're trying to just clean up the track. Then, as you said, a little bit of fluid. You can see it down there. It might just be water. It could be a little bit of oil or a bit of petrol residue. But obviously, all of the guys around the circuit doing what they can to improve the conditions. There's Stephen Shakespeare. And I think Jason Weigart down there in these red flag conditions. You're with Hayden Gillim, who also had his own issues.
Played dad duty a little bit, check on the baby. Now he's back, but we got to ask about that chicane where you lost a little bit of time.
Yeah. I felt, man, that the beginning of the race was a lot better than yesterday. I felt really good, and the bike's working really good right now. So I was happy. I was happy being right there. I was able to learn a little bit from Corey, and you know, he's strong in a few spots that is going to make it really difficult. But you know, we'll see. The brake adjuster somehow came loose, and ended up the front brake ended up coming all the way almost to the bars. So I went in there, two-fingered it, and just blasted right through. And so then the next two laps, I was having to use all four fingers. And this place you're on the side of the tires so much that it's really difficult for me to be able to use the throttle and the brake without having to make big movements. And so they're getting that fixed, and hopefully we can get another good start and see what we can do with Corey. He's riding so good right now, and it's going to be difficult to do anything with him. But you know, we'll see what we can do.
Well, you made huge gains though compared to yesterday. Is that you or is that the bike? What's improved here?
I think getting off the line, I was able to get into that rhythm pretty good, pretty fast. And yeah, I know we made a few changes yesterday in the race that didn't quite work, and we went back and made a couple little changes this morning that felt really good on a used tire. And so I'm hoping everything stays good and we can get another good jump and get out there with those boys. And yeah, it's a points game right now, and I really want to get the win, but Corey's riding so good that it's going to be tough. And so you know, I'll be happy with a second or third place here. Him and Andy are both riding really good. Even Travis. It's going to be time, but I'm enjoying myself, and you know, just being back at the races this year, having fun, riding a really good bike with this Infinity Fall Protections Disrupt Racing team, backed by 4SR, and I got a good group of guys that I'm just trying to do this for.
All right. Hey, he's selling himself short. He's keeping up with them. He says he'll settle for second or third, but he was darn close to the lead. That's Hayden Gillim. I think we'll have about 2 minutes here, so I'm going to see if we have time to grab Corey Alexander, who is leading the race. He's downloading with his crew right now, so we do have a little bit of a track cleanup. Real quick, if I can get like 30 seconds with you, Corey Alexander. You're leading, but they're keeping the pressure on today.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I knew it was coming. You know, especially with Hayden. He's going to be tough all year. But yeah, for sure, we're struggling a little bit with the heat. I think the track's just a little more greasy, so trying to get that figured out here in this short little break, and it'll be a 5-lap shootout. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It was a bit of a walk-off yesterday, but we expect it to be really close down to the wire potentially this afternoon. I'll send it back to you guys.
Thanks, Jason. And yeah, well, that explains what happened to Hayden Gillim. You said it was possibly some kind of issue with the brakes, and he confirmed it.
Yeah, just by the way he started going right to the brake adjuster to start adjusting it made me think there was an issue with the brake. And I think the big thing for him is the start. We've seen him have some issues with the start before, and here you go. You see, he knows he's in deep now, so he goes to the right. Look at his left hand. Going straight to the brake adjuster. They got something that runs from the brake all the way over to that side. If you get a little bit of brake fade, you can spin it to put the front brake lever in or out, whatever you want.
Yeah, absolutely. As you heard then from Corey Alexander, this will be a 5-lap shootout for the Yuasa Stock 1000s. The grid will be determined by the way that they finished that first part. There is Hayden Gillim. He's getting himself ready. We are going to get prepared then. It's a 5-lap shootout for glory in Stock 1000. That's coming up after this.
The all-new 2022 Suzuki Hayabusa. The quickest, most advanced and aerodynamic Hayabusa ever. Engineered to explore the absolute limits of its potential and yours. Developed with Suzuki's intelligent ride system, giving unmatched control and rideability, and shaped to demolish drag and cut through wind with an unmistakable silhouette. The all-new Hayabusa is ready. Are you ready for it?
I was wrong for once.
Welcome back, MotoAmerica Live Plus. We have a wait now for the restart of our Yuasa Stock 1000 class, probably about 2 minutes before they fire the motorcycles back up. And this is a rare opportunity for everyone to get some data and figure out how much the track has changed from earlier in the weekend. We had relatively cool temperatures in the morning and throughout Friday. Got a little warmer than expected yesterday on Saturday, and then much warmer today. Not as bad as it was last year, but everyone was kind of guessing to try to meet the track temperature that they expected to get this afternoon. But now they have a rare reprieve to go in and figure out what they learned. Now, you can't change tires, but they can do other changes to the bikes. And in fact, in anticipation of this, when I talked to the team that dominated the race yesterday, this Tytler Cycle Ride HVMC BMW team that won the race of Corey Alexander, they were making big suspension changes today in anticipation of the heat. Talking to the folks from Olin's, that's what they really were focused on, trying to figure out how hot the track would get, how slick it would get, and in anticipation of that. But when we talked to Corey Alexander during this break, he said, yeah, it's still pretty greasy, and you can tell the field is a lot closer to him today than they were yesterday. So we'll see if anyone made the right guesses and the right changes now that they got some data, since they actually did put some laps onto the track. And another person that is going to take advantage of this, remember Hayden Gillum lost some ground with that mistake when he had the brake problem in the chicane. He'll have a chance to be right up behind the leader.
Track is open, then the motorcycles for Yuasa Stock 1000 is coming back onto the circuit. And of course, if you are just joining us, we had a red flag because of an incident involving the number 55, Michael Gilbert. Roger, let's have a look back then at why we had that short delay for Michael Gilbert. We understand he has been transported to the medical center. They are reporting a lower left leg injury. He loses it and over it goes. Oh, and that's why. That's why.
Ezra Bobier had nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go. Nothing you can do in that situation. So Michael Gilbert very quickly taken to the medical center and obviously has a lower left injury. The corner workers, the marshals, doing a great job at clearing the circuit.
And he came into this race already, you know, we mentioned it before the race, already had a hurt ankle from a crash.
He was already recovering, wasn't he? Yeah, already recovering. And I think we can have another look at that incident in a second or two as this sighting lap then gets underway. Here's have a look at this then, Roger. He comes through. It was a strange kind of crash.
Yeah, it looks like he just lost the rear on the exit out of turn 11, like maybe he pushed the front. And you see Ezra Bobier's behind him. He don't know where to go, you know, so he's just going wide, and at this point he's trying to miss him. Yeah. He actually hits his head as well.
Yeah, he just catches his boot, doesn't he, just a little bit, and that just obviously sends Michael into a bit of a spin. Bobier
good
also,
riding by Bobier.
Yeah, I was going to say really good. I mean, there's nothing he could do there at all, and he did his best to take avoiding action. So the good news is from Michael Gilbert that it's hopefully it's nothing too severe, and he's obviously already in the medical centre getting some attention. So anybody that's watching back home, that is good news indeed. There is Hunter Dunham, the top Yamaha yesterday, got himself into the top 8, and one of the youngest riders on the grid in Stock 1000. Good to see the progress from Hunter Dunham. He runs for the team that is run by his mum and dad, and a really likeable character. I really like talking to him. Very calm, very he's got a good head on his shoulders, doesn't he? He doesn't seem to be kind of goofy and playing around. He takes his racing seriously and trains hard off the track as well.
Yeah, and actually a couple years ago into turn 11, he had a really big crash and got injured pretty good. It set out a lot, so it's kind of cool to see him come here and, really having his best weekend, I think, in Stock 1000, consistently inside the top 10. And, he's going to be 7th now on the grid, which is going to put him 3rd row, which is a really good starting spot for him. And, maybe if he gets a good start, when you race with that group that you haven't raced before, that's always a little bit in front of you, you can get off with them. You can kind of go to school and learn a lot.
Absolutely. So if you aren't familiar with a quick start procedure, what does that mean? Well, it basically means that, as you can see, there's no hanging around on the grid. There's no time for umbrellas. There's no time for last-minute changes. The riders do the sighting lap. They form up on the grid, and then it's lights out, and away we go racing. The way that the grid will form up then, based on the new rules that were brought in several years ago now to avoid aggregate races, which was always a headache, Roger. I used to hate that as a fan as well. You couldn't work out who was leading the race if you did an aggregate race where they added parts 1 and parts 2 together. We don't get that anymore, and I think that just simplifies it. It simplifies it also for the riders as well. If you're trying to manage a 0.3 second advantage from a first part of a race, you don't know how close somebody is behind you. So make it simple. The grid lines up the way that they finished the first part before the red flag, and then it's a shootout, 5, 6, 7, 10, whatever they decide, to make up that full race distance.
Yeah, it's way better, and even for the fans as well. If you're a fan here and they're doing it by, splitting the races up into 2, you really don't know who's winning, who's in second. So as the riders, the teams, the officials, it just makes it way harder. So this is definitely a lot better way to do it, and it makes it exciting. 5-lap shootout.
Yeah, 5-lap shootout for the title. This is what they're chasing, and this is how it looks at the moment. Hayden Gillim with a 4-point advantage over Corey Alexander, just 9 points back to Travis Wyman. Jeff May, we do not see. Andy DeBrino, as I said, 18 points behind, very much in contention. Gerardo and Gilbert, well, Gilbert, we just saw crash out. Stefano Mesa not here as well. Brandon Pash could take some advantage here. If he can get a good top 6, that'll move him into contention for the top 6 as well. But it really looks as though it's a 5-rider fight, but with Jeff May not being here, he will lose touch with those riders. Jeff May's going to be more than one race behind, Roger. It's not over for him, but let's hope he can regroup and come back strong at Laguna.
Yeah, and it's just disappointing, and we only have one weekend off, so it's gonna be tough. But I'm excited about this next restart. What I'm really looking forward to see if Hayden Gillim can get off the start like he did that first time, because I think that's going to be key, especially only being 5 laps. It's going to fly by.
Yeah, does that change your strategy? I mean, for somebody like Corey Alexander, who was seemingly taking his time at the beginning of that first race, you can't take your time now. If you get buried in your 4th and 5th, you have very little time to make a move.
Especially if you get a bad start, you have to be even more aggressive, because you don't have those extra laps to try to make a move. You're going to come around after the first lap, 4 laps to go.
Right. Travis Wyman could also take advantage. One other significant rule change in MotoAmerica that's not the same in Europe. I know there are a lot of people watching in Europe and in Australia as well. You cannot change tyres. You can make any change to the motorcycle, but rules are that you are not allowed to change those Dunlop tyres. Everybody on the same spec tyres. Of course, you can choose between soft, medium and hard, or extra soft. I think we have available here as well. But you're not allowed to change the tyres. There's Brandon Pash, the double winner of the Daytona 200. Very distinctive pink gloves and boots and the pink helmets. Now then, let's hope that we all safely negotiate the chicane. Watch for the light, and Brandon Pash's front wheel is over that line. He didn't move, so hopefully he gets away with that as they head down towards turn number 1. And Andy DeBrino very aggressive, and it's DeBrino, the local rider, that makes it through. We saw some incidents here at the end of lap number 1 last time through, but this time there's no problem, and Alexander thinks about making a move. A great start there in 4th position. That looks like Ezra Bobier.
Yeah, great start. It looks like almost a carbon copy of the very first start with the top 3, Andy DeBrino, Corey Alexander, Hayden Gillim. You can already see how Corey is trying to be a lot more aggressive this start.
Yeah, you can see the body language also different, hard into the long left-hander, this triple apex left-hander. They're then going to go down a little dip and then hard on the brakes into a right-hander. This is where you may see a move from Corey Alexander as he now changes angle. You see him trying to reposition the bike, but there's no way through there. It's so tight.
Yeah, he's going to try to set him up wide and then come under, but just, you know, Andy Marino's got too much experience, knows to close that door. His next opportunity, look at Hayden.
Oh, that is a brave move. We talk about corners where you need the bravery, and Hayden Gillam was absolutely committed, and he's committed again on the inside. DeBrino doesn't see him, and in two corners, he's gone from third to first. That was an absolute stock 1000 masterclass in overtaking from Hayden Gillam.
Yeah, and he moved Andy over far enough where Corey even got by. You know, we talked about this race being shorter. They were going to be a lot more aggressive, and we're seeing that. And here comes Corey into turn 11.
We've seen 5 overtakes for position, and no, that's got DeBrino well out of the seat. Ezra Bobier fighting for a podium here as he comes down through the waterfall section. Hayden Gillam a lot more racy. And of course, they will have had a chance to make some adjustments. They wouldn't have been able to change the whole brake system. They will have been able to look at that and maybe just give him something that gives him a little bit more feel.
And then also, too, having the red flag like that, tires will have that heat cycle. And some guys can adjust to it better than others, and some tires sometimes don't adjust to it as well as others.
Yeah, Travis Wyman makes a move in the back of the picture on Brandon Pash, I think it was. Yeah, Travis Wyman is now up into 5th position, but once again, as we saw in that first part of the race, if you weren't with us on MotoAmericaLivePlus.com, why weren't you? Where were you? You missed an absolute cracking opening 7 laps, but we did see Hayden Gillam able to match Corey Alexander in Sector 1. It's this part of the circuit, though, once we come through this left-hander into Sector 2, Roger, where that Suzuki and the style of Hayden Gillam just seems to work a little bit better than the BMW.
Yeah, they're pretty even, you know, that kind of the first part of the track, but this is the part of the track where we've seen Hayden make up a lot of time and made a lap past the previous lap, which is a really difficult place to pass where he made that pass.
Yeah, Andy DeBrino in 3rd. We have 3 manufacturers in the top 3. Just look at that. Look at the ground that he eats up on Corey Alexander. He thinks again about making the move. No way through this time. Fascinating game of cat and mouse between these two riders. Pretty good friends off track, but I guess when the visor goes down, you got no friends.
Not at all. Now we start coming to the part of the track where we've seen Corey kind of open up that gap, and it looks like right now you can hear the tires screeching as these guys get into that really hard braking corner, going back a couple gears.
Through the waterfall into the penultimate turn, and Travis Wyman looks a lot more racy in this restart. He's now got himself ahead of Ezra Bobier, so this is a really good lap from Travis Wyman, who was also very much in contention in the championship, just 9 points behind Hayden Gillam in the championship. Into turn 1, and we now have an 8-wheeler. We've got 4 riders all together here. And it seems that this restart has just sort of reignited Travis Wyman's attack for the victory.
Yeah, maybe they made some changes there in that red flag, or maybe he just feels more comfortable now with than the other guys with the way that the tires are.
Ezra Bobier is still in 5th, ahead of Brandon Pash and Jeremy Coffey in 7th. Hunter Dunham, as we were just talking about before that race, is running in a very strong 9th position, again ahead of Isaiah Davis. I know that Sarah with that team will be super happy with that top 10, but at the front, 3 laps to go. Corey Alexander looking to make it 4 wins here at the Ridge. Did you ever have a track that you kind of went to and thought, yeah, it's my weekend, it's mine to lose? Barber.
Yeah. This part here, this really fast turn 8, 9, 10 is where Hayden makes up all of his time up over this blind crest. Look at all the time he makes up.
And how is he able to do that then? Is it because, I mean,
I think
it's not that Corey's going slow, is it?
I think it's just maybe a little more over that. I mean, that rise is, you know, it's bravery, I think.
Corey Alexander then still controlling at the front. He hasn't looked over his shoulder once. And it's something you don't see him do often, do you? You don't really often see him look over his shoulder. I guess some riders are able to just control things from the front. They believe in their own ability and what they've got underneath them. They don't need to look behind. But then you do sometimes see a number rider looking behind and getting a bit nervous. It always makes me a bit nervous when riders look over. There's a couple of pit boards going out. P1, P2, lap 2, minus 0.4. They're giving him that information. How much of that can you actually retain, though? I mean, you're going past so fast.
And here's even harder because you got to start braking for the chicane. You know, it's a really short straightaway, so you can barely kind of get a glance over, and then you kind of actually start thinking about, like, kind of through here, like, what did I, you know, you start thinking about what did you see?
We are a lap and 2/3 away then from Corey Alexander. moving into the lead of the championship by 1 point. He's 4 points behind. You get 25 points for a win, 20 for second. If they stay as they are now, not only will Corey Alexander have recovered from that monster crash that he had in VIR, he will be in the lead of the championship.
And over the strike, Corey had a 6/10 lead. Now it looks like Hayden's found all that in that first sector, coming into that spot where he's really strong.
See the different lines there. He's got so much confidence, as you said, in the front of that Suzuki, and this is where he's going to wind up the wick on the GSXR. How brave is he? The answer is very.
He might do the outside into the in.
And here he goes. Oh, he thinks about it. He has to. You see him stand on the back brake there to try and get it stopped. Corey Alexander, will he have seen him?
I think he had to feel him. I think if it was the last lap, Corey might, or Hayden would have kind of barged his way through, but I think now he kind of showed his hand early.
Oh, and another rider's got. Jeremy Coffey goes down at the same corner that we saw Michael Gilbert go down. And his weekend just goes from bad to worse. So you've got to feel for him.
Yeah, and I think now Corey will block this next lap in that turn 11.
Yeah, definitely if he felt. I mean, there wasn't much space between them. Hayden Gillam, though, much stronger than he has been through Sector 3. It's a one-lap shootout here for Glory, the championship leader, and the rider that's in second place. The white flag is waved, heading down in towards turn 1. Alexander still leads. That's the first possible overtaking position or part of the track that has been blocked by Corey Alexander into turn 3, which is actually turn 1. But this is where Hayden is strong, and you can see again, look how quick he is mid-corner.
I don't know if Corey's running out of grip, maybe having a couple issues with the tire. This last lap, he did a 43.2, which is a second off his best time. And, you know, yesterday we just seen him really consistent all the way through. It looks like Hayden's got the pace.
Here comes Hayden, then thinks about making a move, and he's gone early. Hayden Gillam goes through and shows the front wheel to Corey Alexander.
Can he hold it?
No, he can't. Alexander comes back underneath him side by side. So much trust between these two riders. BMW versus Suzuki. Now we go hard on the brakes, and Gillam's going to come again. Here he comes. Oh, that's a huge move. Sorry, Roger, and that was... Whoa, sorry, mate. That was a sketchy move there. I said he was going to come for that move, and that could have been both of them on the floor, and that has ruined any opportunity of a podium for Hayden Gillam. He had to try it, but that was a late lunge.
Yeah, and I think he kind of figured Corey was going to block that next lap into turn 11 and tried to make his move somewhere else.
Well, what we haven't seen in the back of all that shenanigans is that Travis Wyman has somehow now found himself onto the podium as well, and it is going to be a Titleist BMW 1-2 for the second week in a row, or the second race in a row. Remember Road America, it was Corey Alexander from Travis Wyman, and it is going to be the case again here through the penultimate corner onto the start and finish straight. Corey Alexander is undefeated at the Ridge Motorsports Park. Travis Wyman gets a podium, DeBrino in third, and Hayden Gillam loses the lead in the championship with a lunge there that he will regret. And look at that from Corey Alexander. Ezra Bobier in 5th position, and another top 6 for Brandon Pash. Thumbs up from the team. They will be happy with that. Corey Alexander will be grinning like a Cheshire cat. BMW first and second, Kawasaki on the podium. I like that. That's nice that Corey Alexander respected that. I mean, that was a hard race. It could have gone wrong. It didn't, but Corey would have probably done the same. Here's a look. Yeah. Talk us through this, Roger.
Just on the outside through there, through turn 6. As the track goes down, I think what Hayden was wanting to do was just kind of do a block pass, but he just gets in too quick. And he knows at that point, and he really cuts up the inside. He could have got into Corey and used him as a berm if he wanted to, but that's not the way he's going to race.
Yeah, he's not going to wipe him out. I mean, it was very, it was an opportunistic maneuver that didn't work out, but hey, you can't blame him for trying. He's fighting for a championship.
And like I said, during the race, I think he kind of figured that move that he tried the lap before might have been blocked. And also he knows how fast he is through turn 9. If he could have got that pass through there, he might have got a little bit of a gap where Corey couldn't strike back. But Corey rode a great race again today, and you know, he's on a roll right now and riding better than he ever has. And like I said, I thought he was kind of running out of grip maybe toward the end of the race. He got into the 43s.
Absolutely. Corey Alexander then wins again. It is his fourth win of the season, and incredible stuff as he celebrates Alexander, Wyman, and DeBrino.
MotoAmerica Stock 1000 coverage is sponsored by Yuasa Battery. It starts with us. And by Dunlop. the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Here's a look then at the race results from our first race of the day. Corey Alexander takes a 1.2-second win over his teammate Andy DeBrino, a double podium. Sorry, Travis Wyman, a double podium for Andy DeBrino. Hayden Gillam in fourth, Brandon Pash behind Ezra Bobier. That was a great way to start our racing day here.
Yeah, that was a great race. Just the second part, Andy DeBrino, good start. Corey Alexander, good start. Hayden Gillam. Just what we wanted to see, top three guys there getting off together.
Yeah, DeBrino strong again on the opening lap. Corey Alexander not wasting any time, goes through on the inside into the turn one chicane. Hayden Gillam also aggressive into second. He was aware that he couldn't allow Alexander. That's what happened in the first part of the race, a issue with the brakes. We then had a red flag and the race restarted. This is why we had the red flag. Unfortunately, Michael Gilbert going down. Ezra Bobier doing a good job to avoid all of the action. Then this is the restart. Alexander with a bit better start this time. Brave moves from Hayden Gillam right from the off. I mean, that was brave.
That was really brave. And look at Hayden making a move early. Pushes Andy wide enough where Corey actually made it by as well. Corey makes a pass into turn 13. Swapping positions a lot on that opening lap.
Yeah. Further back, we saw Travis Wyman, a slow starter but strong at the end. Here's the move that could have gone so wrong. Hayden Gillam lunging for the win, and there's Corey Alexander just to say to him, "Good job, mate. Good job." Do you think he was saying good job, or do you think he was saying calm down? I'm not sure.
Maybe I'm sorry, or that was close.
Well, if you enjoyed Yuasa Stock 1000, stick with us because there's more coming up. Here's a look at the remaining races that we have. Twins Cup is up next. It's STG Juniors after that. Super Sport Medallia Superbike. Can Jake Gagne continue his run of form? A race win today will possibly get him into the lead at the championship as our riders come down into the Parc Fermé. The podiums will